for the deuce. Kevin Garnett got it done. Welcome to Boston, Massachusetts in Game 2.
歡迎嚟到 ESPN 今日現場直接轉播東岸決賽嘅第二場。
With the Celtics to bounce back quickly after their emotional Game 7 versus the Cavs. The answer, a resounding yes. Now it's the Pistons' chance to respond as they look to even up this series. It's Game 2 from Boston coming up next.
Focus, confidence, commitment.
10 seconds to go. Johnson fires, fouled, hit it! He hit it! He hit it! He was fouled and he hit it!
And gets it out deep and Havlicek steals it. It's all over.
Passion.
LeBron James with a drive and a dynamite dunk.
Soul. Heart.
Here's Miller. Miller's open. Fires. Yes! Reggie hits it at the buzzer. It's unbelievable. Oh, my. Incredible.
It's all over. It's all over.
This is a team, guys, you can't let your guard down, and you got to keep the pressure up, and you got to keep hitting, and every time they get up and say, it wasn't you, you got to hit them again, and then when they get up, you got to hit them again, and they're going to keep getting up, and you got to hit them again. They have a history, you know, that they can fall back on. That we're not Philly, we're not Orlando, we're not any of the teams they've beaten. They ain't met us before, but we have to keep hitting, and we can't let our guard down. We just got to keep punching.
There's the no letdown speech after a victory in Game 1 for Doc Rivers and the Celtics. Another sellout crowd. They're ready to go. Celtics are perfect at home in the playoffs at 9-0. But the Pistons, they love to silence a road crowd. They've been doing it over the past several years. So let's get things started. Our Miller Lite starting lineups. Send it over to PA announcer Eddie Palladino.
Here are the starting lineups for the visiting Detroit Pistons. At guard, 6'3" from Colorado, number 1, Chauncey Billups. At the other guard, 6'7" from Yukon, number 32, Richard Hamilton. At 1 forward, 6'9" from Alabama, number 24, Antonio McDyess. At the other forward, 6'9" from Kentucky, number 22, Tayshaun Prince. At center, 6'11" from North Carolina, number 36, Rasheed Wallace. The head coach of the Detroit Pistons is Flip Saunders.
Rivers and the Celtics trying to remain perfect in the playoffs to look to win their 10th straight here at the TD Bank North Garden. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals, along with Mark Jackson and Jeff Van Gundy. Mike Breen on hand. Michelle Tafoya will join us shortly. Certainly one of the stories going into Game 1 was the Celtics and how emotional they'd be after that Game 7 against the Cavaliers. What a physical and emotional series that was. But Kevin Garnett made sure that there was no letdown. He set the tone right from the start, Mark.
Oh, you're 100% right. Paul Pierce has been special, and in Game 7 he was phenomenal. But Kevin Garnett, 3 out of the last 4 ball games, and had 25 or more points. He certainly dominated his power forward position with Rasheed Wallace in Game 1. Arguably the biggest matchup in this series. Certainly across the board, points 26, shooting a high field goal percentage, knocking down jumpers on the block, impact on the boards, and also defensively. So he is the guy that's had the impact most on this series.
Meanwhile, for the Pistons, Chauncey Billups is their leader. Now, whether he's 100%, that's a big question mark. Really, only he knows, doctors and those who stayed at a Holiday Inn last night. Has that hamstring injury. Clearly wasn't 100% in Game 1. But what we do know, Jeff, is he has to win that matchup if they want to win this series.
Well, Mike, there's no excuses. If you're on the floor, you're healthy enough to play and healthy enough to perform. Across the board, it wasn't good enough by Chauncey Billups. Not his minutes, not his points, not his assists. How does he get better? He attacks earlier. He's got to get more opportunities in the pick and roll to turn the corner and create plays for himself and for his teammates.
Meanwhile, let's see if there are more opportunities for Ray Allen tonight. For more on that, let's welcome in Michelle Tafoya. Hey, Michelle.
Oh, hey, Mike. Yeah, as everyone continues to dissect Ray Allen's shooting slump, Allen himself continues to do what he's always done. So, as usual, he arrived here at the arena about 3 hours before game time and was shooting around, and his shots were falling. So why aren't they falling in games? Well, Doc Rivers said that at this point the problem is not with Ray's health or mechanics, but with his head, because he's probably never experienced such an extended slump before. And then Doc made a prediction. He said he's going to come out of this slump. I think he's close. I don't know why. I just think he's really close.
Well, Michelle, that's certainly part feel for your player and part hope for your player that he starts to get it going, as the Celtics certainly need Ray Allen. Our officiating staff for tonight, the veteran crew led by Steve Javy, Tom Washington, and Sean Corbin, as we're set to go. The Detroit Pistons feeling, hey, we didn't play well in Game 1, yet we were only down 6 with 4.5 to go, so they were encouraged by that. Doc Rivers said he was worried up until the final buzzer. It's a veteran team. They've been down before. They've come back so many times. And as we've said so often, the Pistons are an excellent road team. Billups said he'll be more aggressive to start here in Game 2. And Perkins reaches in, a poor foul that time, and Billups is going to go to the line as he was in the act of shooting.
A good job by Billups, realizing there was a switch. Perkins on the perimeter defending him, immediately takes the offense into his own hands.
And that was a poor play by the combination of Perkins and Rondo. Perkins was giving help before Billups caught the ball. Rondo needs to keep coming and then kick Perkins back into his own man. To leave him stranded there against Billups is a mistake.
And Billups, he played in that Game 1, 31 minutes during the regular season when he scored a lot. He went to the free throw line 35 times in 3 games. It's clear he didn't have the explosiveness, but he said he felt good, and said as the game went on, he felt obviously a lot better.
I really don't think they used him in the proper way in Game 1. Pick and rolls, they didn't use him exclusively, and also against Rondo, he has to put him on the block, get in the post.
Meanwhile, Billups is guarding Allen, as he did a lot in Game 1. Hamilton guards Rondo quite a bit, so some cross matches. Pierce looking for an opening. Shot clock at 2, Garnett. And he traveled. So good defense from the Pistons.
That wasn't good defense, Mike. That was great defense. The way they were aggressive, extending the pick and roll, trapping Ray Allen off the pick and roll, closing down the shooters. The only thing they had left was Garnett 2 feet behind the three-point line with 3 seconds on the shot clock.
So, great defense from the Pistons.
Keep your head up. Don't get upset, Mike. I've been there before. I thought I played good defense, and he told me it was horrible.
See, I'm just being ultra positive, and you guys now trying to turn that around into a negative. I can't believe it.
Meanwhile, Boston's defense was superb in Game 1. It has been just unbelievable here at home during the playoffs. Prince misses. The Celtic defense, 6 times in the playoffs, they've held an opponent under 80 points. And here at home, teams are averaging 79 and shooting 38%. That's just great playoff defense. Pierce hits a 3.
In that situation, you don't get better defense. Even Rip Hamilton, contested hand in the face of Pierce. Pierce knocks down the jump shot, continues to roll.
And Tony McDyess has had a couple of good games in the clincher against Orlando and played well in Game 1. Billups deflected by Rondo, but Billups steals it back from Pierce. And here's Rasheed Wallace. Knocked out of bounds. Detroit ball. Shot clock is down to 1. And there you see the difference. Obviously, they'll go on the road for Saturday's Game 3, but they have just been brilliant at home. That's going to be a 24-second violation.
And if you look at those home road numbers, it's not one facet of the game where they've dropped off on the road. It's offense and defense. They've been very poor. There's really no explanation for such a solid team to not have more consistency to their game.
During the regular season, they were the best road team, won 31 games. But not the case against Atlanta and Cleveland in the first 2 rounds. Here's Allen. The crowd is so behind him. Every time he looks to shoot, they're getting fired up. He draws the foul. And Allen said, I can hear them. I feel them. He goes, they don't know why it's not going in, and neither do I right now.
I played with a great shooter in Reggie Miller, who, once in a blue moon was in a slump. But I tell you what, no way in the world, and at no point did I see him put his head down. He always felt like the next one was his. And that's the mentality that Ray Allen has to have right now.
And I don't think he had it in Game 1 after he missed a few jump shots to open up the game. He had good looks. They didn't go down. Then he had some opportunities in transition to reload another shot, and he passed them up.
Doc Rivers told him, stop looking for reasons and just go play. Now, it certainly hasn't affected his free throw shooting in the playoffs. Allen is now 36 for 37 from the free throw line.
But, Mike, when a guy's going through a slump like he's going through, everyone's got answers. All the assistant coaches are talking to him, teammates are talking to him, probably people that are close to him. He's got to shut out all the noise, filter it out, and just rely on a great shooter knows his own shot better than anyone.
Good defense from Pierce. Billups with the shot clock winding down. Billups using his strength, gets inside, won't go, tip. McDyess can't get it, Perkins the rebound. Pierce another 3. And it'll go out of bounds. Pierce playing good defense on Prince. The thing that you guys talked about a lot throughout the Cavaliers series is Pierce's defense on LeBron James and all season, how he's really contributed on that end of the floor.
Oh, he raved so much about the obvious points as far as his offensive capabilities, but defensively, he has been locked in all season long and even turned it up another notch come playoff time, whether it be against Joe Johnson or LeBron James.
And an offensive foul is going to go against Rasheed Wallace. Flip Saunders arguing with Sean Corbin as they got entangled after trying to set a screen. Oh, that's when you just let him play.
I don't see where that's an offensive foul at all. Rasheed Wallace certainly has a case when you take a look at that replay.
Ray Allen pulled him down. If anything, that's a defensive foul.
Again, Billups is on Allen. McDyess guarding Garnett now. Billups, an all-NBA defensive player for the past several years. Shot clock at 3. Garnett won't go. Rondo high for the rebound over McDyess. And threw it off the leg of Wallace.
And Mike, he was doing that throughout the first game, driving to pass versus driving to score. If you drive to pass, the help doesn't come. You've got to drive to score the ball.
Rondo with another rebound.
Well, it's an interesting thing to look at when you talk to both coaches and Doc Rivers and flip side. Both guys talked about wanting to increase the pace. They wanted to play faster on the offensive end.
Garnett knocks it down. 7 straight points for Boston. Pistons started slowly in game 1, starting slowly here in game 2. Still looking for their first field goal. We played over 4 minutes. And there it is. McDyess is playing some good ball.
And it's the value of having bigs who can screen and then shoot it with some range. And there, McDyess stepped back off the trap of Hamilton and knocked it in.
And I don't know if it's because Wallace picked up a foul. McDyess is now guarding Garnett. Wallace didn't guard him exclusively in game 1.
I think it's important when you're a coach or a point guard in this league, recognize the look in guys' faces. And right now, Kevin Garnett wants the basketball.
Ball less touched by Pierce.
You got a big man that's demanding the basketball. Feels like any matchup is an advantage to him. Does a good job of waiting till everybody's out of the way, and it's one-on-one, and he has capitalized.
And I believe we're going to have a technical foul.
A technical foul has been called on Detroit's number 36.
Yep, it's Rasheed Wallace. Now, that's the 5th technical he has in the playoffs. If you get to 7, you're suspended for the next game. And it's an ongoing story with Wallace that often overshadows his terrific play and what a good player he is. But it's been an issue throughout his career. During the regular season, he only had 12. I say only because that's a good number for him. He was 3rd in the NBA. But he's 1st in the playoffs, and he's now 2 away from getting a suspension.
And you see Chauncey Billups immediately walks over to him. Sometimes you just got to listen to guys. Does that, but also emphatically says, hey, we need to settle down.
You know, his teammates often talk about it's part of his game is emotion, but in playoff series where 1 or 2 points can make a difference. It hurt them last year, his emotions, in the series against the Cleveland Cavs when they got knocked out in the conference finals. And Billups is fouled by Rondo.
And an interesting adjustment by Wallace right there. Boston in the high pick and roll is forcing the ball to the left side. Wallace slipped out of the screen. Garnett, because of Wallace's three-point shooting, went with him, which allowed Billups to drive and led to a Rondo gamble and a Rondo foul.
First foul on Rondo. Hamilton and Allen. And they call the foul on Allen. Hamilton just kind of put the ball in his stomach. Smart play from Rip Hamilton as he'll go to the line for 2.
But again, I don't think that's a foul. He used the ball to create the contact. He brought the ball into Ray Allen. I don't think that's anything.
Allen's an excellent free throw shooter. Let's take a look at the play. Well, the left arm a little bit, but Hamilton initiated that contact completely.
Right, with the ball. And to me, you have to referee when the offense is allowed more contact than the defense. It's wrong. It's like if you're in a legal guarding position, if the offense brings it into you, it's no call or an offensive foul.
Rondo played 40 minutes in game 1 and had 1 turnover, maybe the most impressive stat for a young man playing in his first NBA playoffs. He's given, passes up the look. 2 on the shot clock. Pierce pulls up, puts it in. Pierce with a good start.
And Mike, that's what we talked about in game 1. That's a jump shot for Rondo, a wide open jump shot. Has the luxury of getting it to Pierce, and he knocks it down as the shot clock dwindles. But if you're Rajon Rondo, you have to take that shot or you're hurting your team.
Hamilton drives. Prince to McDyess. McDyess, aggressive shooting the ball, continues to shoot well. During the playoffs, 52%. Midway through the first, a 4-point Celtic lead. Allen leans in for the jumper, won't go. Every time Allen looks to shoot, as Hamilton comes down the other end and rattles it in. Every time he looks to shoot, you just can hear a little buzz from the crowd here in Boston.
I think sometimes, too, you just got to change it up. Ray Allen shooting 3 hours before the game, spending time after practice. Sometimes they say, forget it, I got it. You can't shoot, stay in the gym, but if you are one of the greatest shooters of all time, take the day off every now and then.
Not a good shot from Garnett.
And Hamilton's guarding Rondo, and just like we saw in the Cleveland series, in tonight's game, he is roaming and playing center field, just leaving Rondo in the corner open, trying to break rhythm of the offensive set.
Hamilton inside, blocked by Perkins. Good help defense. Pierce. And Hamilton got a piece of it right there inside. Ray Allen. Celtics by 4. Phillips blows past Rondo, blocked by Pierce. Back-to-back rejections. Here come the Celtics. Allen thought about the three, instead goes to the basket, way off the mark. Hamilton alley-oop. Prince always looks so calm no matter what the situation. That same expression as Rondo with a steal. He had 5 steals in game 1. Comes up with them there here in game 2. Well, Pierce and Garnett, they didn't have an answer for him in game 1. And the 2 All-Stars off to a good start.
Well, Pierce, good job reading the offense, catching the basketball, ready to lock and load off of the ball movement, isolation, put the smaller Phillips on his hip, knocks down the jumper. And mama, there goes that man. Continues to roll on the block. KG having a good time, aggressive early, and knocking down big post-up moves.
Hey, man, straight up, put them in. And real talk, man, it has been a journey. All right, we not me. Each and every last one of y'all have gained confidence from being here. Take that, man. Use it when you have to.
Get out.
That's real talk to all y'all. So we're gonna go brotherhood on 3, baby. 1, 2, 3.
Kevin Garnett and the Celtics lead by 4. Garnett's facing one of his best friends in this series, and that's Chauncey Billups. The two of them played together in Minnesota with the Timberwolves, but they first met when they played in high school All-America All-Star games, and Billups remembers the young KG.
I thought it was crazy, man. You know, he's doing all that ranting and raving and talking crazy. He's been doing that ever since I ever met him, man, you know. And then I started to realize that all that, you know, vulgar language and stuff like that he uses, he's not really directing it towards anybody. He's trying to hype himself up, you know. And, you know, people got to play certain games with themselves to try to, you know, get themselves going, and that's what he does. And once I started to understand him, you know, it made sense to me. But, and I also was like, I can't believe this guy plays as hard every single play like that. I had never seen that before, and he's still doing it today. It's amazing.
He hasn't changed a bit. And again, Billups' second daughter. Garnett's the godparent. The two have remained close throughout the years. And now going at each other here for the right to go to the NBA Finals. Billups, of course, has been there and won a championship. Garnett has never been to a Finals. It's just his second conference final. Allen. Rondo. And 24-second violation. Again, Rondo, an open look.
Off of the penetration of Ray Allen, Rondo has to be ready to catch and shoot. Very tentative and passive on the offensive end as far as knocking down shots. He is hurting his team. Another careless turnover.
Flip Saunders said we can't give him too many dare shots where you dare him to take it because he feels he can make it. But right now he's not even attempting it. Yeah, the Celtics lead by 4. Turnovers hurt Detroit in game 1. They had 7 in the third quarter alone. They already have 4 here in the first quarter. Very uncharacteristic of a Detroit team.
So, Coach, will tell you, you play defense in this league, you're going to give yourself a chance to win ball games.
Ball deflected, turnover down the other end. Are the Pistons turnovers, Jeff, is it bad decision-making or is it just good Celtic defense?
Both, a combination. Like that last play, good offense by Detroit, posting up Rasheed Wallace. Hamilton trying to make a good baseline cut, but give Ray Allen credit, as Phillips did a nice job hitting McDyess. Ray Allen, give him credit, deflecting the ball off Hamilton's leg.
McDyess half of the Pistons points as the Celtics lead cut to 2 under 3 minutes to go here in the first. Prince on Pierce. That'll be a fun matchup to watch all series. Pierce certainly got the better of him. Now he takes the shot. Not that time. Rasheed Wallace with his 3rd rebound.
And you're Rondo, you missed that shot, so what? That's a good look off of ball movement. Continue to take that shot and be aggressive.
Rondo guarding Hamilton on the transition. Rip Hamilton gets inside. Dirty play from Hamilton. He's got 6 points.
You really see the difference in the backcourt of the Pistons. They've come out very aggressive offensively in Hamilton and Phillips.
Pierce looking to back down, gets in. Nice move. Felt the mismatch and then got away from the double team.
Exactly. Attack Prince off the dribble on the double team and went around the double team man as well.
Ball will still be Piston ball, and we'll have a timeout with 2:02 remaining here in the first.
Well, this is just a tremendous finish by Hamilton as he goes up, and after he releases the shot, takes a shot by Paul Pierce. Good concentration. Hamilton and Phillips aggressive early.
Detroit shooting just 38% from the field. They have 4 turnovers, but they're only down by 2. Welcome back to Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. Boston hasn't been this far in 6 years as they lead by 2 here in the first. Detroit, though, they're here, it seems like, every year. And, of course, the Pistons' second-best record during the regular season. One of the reasons they're here every year, they've remained intact. Phillips, Hamilton, Prince, and Wallace, so good together. They know each other so well on the court. And that's why they're here for the 6th consecutive year. But, of course, they've lost the last 2 trips. Last year, after winning the first 2 against Cleveland, they lost 4 in a row. The year before to Miami. And they feel they have something to prove. They felt they came off empty, obviously, the last couple of seasons.
And they had home court advantage in both of those series.
So I like the substitution by Doc Rivers. You lose something defensively with Eddie House, but offensively, there's accountability to a bad foul. You foul the jump shooter in Billups. Eddie House, bad job defensively.
Yeah, House saying he's okay. Got hit in the groin. And Billups will go to the line.
But offensively, there's no longer can you roam defensively. There's a guy you have to be accountable for on the perimeter because he's a shot maker.
Billups was second in the NBA in free throw shooting during the regular season. He's already 2 for 2 tonight.
And he does a great job drawing fouls on jump shots by creating contact with his legs. And that's a very unusual thing. Reggie Miller used to do it with the Pacers, where they throw their leg out, initiate contact. Makes it a very difficult call for the official. Shot clock winding down here. Definite foul up top. But Billups down low is always sticking that leg out. That's a good call by the official.
And, of course, on a 3-point attempt, so he'll get the 3 free throws. Meanwhile, rookie Rodney Stuckey set to check in. He's going to come in for Rip Hamilton.
Detroit, number 3, Rodney
Stuckey, the rookie from Eastern Washington, who started those 2 games when Billups was out in the Orlando series. They won both games. He started 2 games during the regular season. They won both games. As we said throughout Game 1, a very impressive young player as Hamilton gets his first rest.
Talking to the Pistons coaches, they compare him a lot to Dwayne Wade, superstar point guard in Miami Heat. They said the difference is Stuckey is more of a point guard, more of a true point guard than he scored.
That's blasphemy right there. Stuckey compared to Dwayne Wade?
Well, I'm only reporting the facts.
I know, I'm not on you. I want names of those coaches.
I think the phrase was poor man's Dwayne Wade.
I can see the similarities as far as strength, ability to get his own shot. A big-time scorer, can post up. You can do a lot of things with him on the offensive end.
I hate these comparisons we all make. This guy's the next Jordan. This guy's the next Dwayne Wade. Let him play a little bit first.
Garnett with McDyess on him. Up shot, McDyess was right on him. And Kevin Garnett with 6 points here in the first quarter.
I mean, Wade started his whole rookie year and was a very good player right off the bat. Stuckey started, what, 2 games?
Yeah. Mike, did you tell him I didn't say it? Why is he looking at me and yelling?
He's just reporting the facts. Phillips creates some space against Pearson, drills it. You can just see already a difference in Phillips' mindset coming into this first quarter.
And they're putting him into more pick and rolls, which you've got to give credit to the coaching staff as well.
Offensive foul, Garnett pushed off. Excellent defense from McDyess to force that turnover. And the Celtics with 5 turnovers here in the opening quarter.
And you see the adjustment by Flip Saunders, having McDyess be the primary defender against Garnett instead of Wallace.
One thing McDyess is doing, he's fighting him before the catch. So when Kevin Garnett catches it, he's outside of the post, making tough baskets.
Final minute of the opening period. Nice defense from House. Again, House is out there for his shooting, but we've seen him very active defensively throughout the playoffs.
He has a great energy level, and that was a good deflection versus Dwayne Wade.
Prince fires it up with the shot clock winding down, and a 24-second violation. Doc Rivers going to his bench again as P.J. Brown will check in for Garnett. Brown at 38, the 3rd oldest player in the NBA this season. You know, Jason Maxiell is going to come in for Detroit. We'll hear from Flip Saunders before we start the second quarter. He's got to be happier with his start than he was in game 1, although they were only down by 5 after the first quarter. The big quarter in game 1 was the 3rd.
Talking to Flip prior to the game, he says, hey, I believe how you start the game is how you finish it. And that had a huge impact on why we lost game 1.
Doug Collins used to always say it. It's a first quarter league as much as it is a fourth quarter league. And I don't think the average fan realizes just how important setting the tone is to start games.
Flip Saunders not happy as Stuckey gets called for that foul, and a bad one because they're in the penalty. So Pierce will go to the line as Stuckey picks up his first. Pierce so far the game's leading scorer with 7. First we'll have game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals on ABC in Detroit. Saturday night coverage starts at 8 Eastern. GMC NBA Countdown. Celtics and Pistons from the Palace of Auburn Hills. Of course, all the stories going in for Boston will be whether or not they can finally win a road game. They're 0-6 so far on the road in the playoffs, and that is a tough place to play. Not only because, obviously, Detroit is a good team, but that's one of the toughest crowds. The fans right behind the visitors' bench for years, and Mark, you played there for a long time, and Jeff, you coached there. They can be brutal.
You talk about great fans and passionate fans. They're as good as any in basketball. That's a tough place to win.
They always got on me about my suits, but I didn't look good in my suits.
I don't know where they got that.
I know.
You didn't feel they had a legitimate claim there? You definitely picked up your dress.
They made me so self-conscious, though.
You should win the Most Improved Award.
Thank you, sir. Wearing a Mark Jackson tie, I might add.
Phillips to Wallace. Wallace for 3. Can't get it to go. Rondo the rebound. Ahead to Posey. Posey will count if it goes. Off the mark. And that will end the first quarter. Paul Pierce once again coming out strong. Chauncey Billups much better here in game 2 for Detroit. Both teams a little sloppy with the basketball, each with 5 turnovers. Pierce and the Celtics took game 1. And right now, after the first quarter of game 2, they've got a 2-point advantage.
Survival. Determination.
Back in Boston where the Pistons trail by just 2. Flip Saunders, you said you wanted to see your team come out quicker and attack more. How do you like what you've seen in the first quarter?
I think we've been okay. I think
we've eased ourselves into it a little bit, but we're right where we need to be. We didn't want them to get off to a huge start as far as early. So I like what we've done. We still got to do a better job moving the ball, though.
Chauncey Billups, how much different does he look to you tonight versus game one?
He looks better. He's looking for a shot a little bit more, a little bit quicker. So he's done a nice job. I have to give him a little bit of rest now in the second quarter.
Thanks, Flip. Okay. Mike?
All right, Michelle, best say Billups perhaps hesitant in that game one, not so in game two, as the big three and their numbers to start as we begin the second quarter. Leon Poe is checked in now for the Boston Celtics, along with P.J. Brown, Eddie House, Paul Pierce, and James Posey. So Pierce, the only starter out there right now for Boston. It's Maxeel, Prince, and Stuckey called for his second foul. Rip Hamilton and Rasheed Wallace. 2 fouls on Stuckey.
But this is exactly the problem Boston had the other night when they asked Eddie House to try to advance it against extreme ball pressure. He's not a natural point guard, even though he's got point guard size. So someone else other than Eddie House is going to have to advance the ball when they're going against pressure.
Sam Cassell, who they signed for really series like this, had really been struggling shooting the basketball and has not played in the last 3 playoff games. So here's why House is out there. Not that time. Prince the rebound. Doc Rivers did feel that Cassell eventually is going to play in the series. Stuckey jump shot. Oh, the rebound. Celtics have numbers if they push, but again, House not being a point guard. Didn't see the 3-on-1. He does see Poe. And P.J. Brown tripped up. So 2 quick fouls on the Pistons to begin the second. Cassell resting. Cassell said the other day, he goes, this was 5 years ago and I wasn't playing, it'd be a problem. Then he said, if it was 5 years ago, I'd probably be playing. So he understands he's being a good soldier, but he is desperate to get out there. Well, he looks pretty relaxed.
I had an opportunity to talk to Sam. He really believes that he's going to have an impact on this series before it's over. He is staying ready.
But I think Doc Rivers is making the right decision in playing House late in that Cleveland series and also to start this series.
Oh, inside, shuffled his feet, got away with it? No, he didn't. Tom Washington called it. Meanwhile, that second foul on Rasheed Wallace sent him to the bench as the Celtics lead still remains 2. Rasheed Wallace, we've talked about Ray Allen. Rasheed Wallace has now missed 14 consecutive three-pointers, and he's won for his last 20 from downtown.
Well, the problem is the Pistons need Rasheed Wallace, not just knocking down threes, but he's too skilled offensively to just be a regular guy on the floor. He has to be a difference maker, especially on the offensive end.
Hamilton. Posey did a good job contesting. Pierce maneuvers his way in, and Theo Ratliff called for a blocking foul. Already 3 team fouls now on Detroit as Ratliff picks up his first. Our NBA calendar, Friday on TNT, Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals at the Staples Center. Lakers and Spurs. Coverage begins at 9 Eastern. Then Saturday, ABC, Game 3 of this series from the Palace of Auburn Hills. Our coverage starts at 8. How about that Laker comeback last night, guys?
I can't believe I'm watching TV and people are upset because Kobe Bryant wasn't aggressive in the first half. This guy can't do anything right. Best player on the planet, being a facilitator and totally confident in the fact that anytime he wants, he can take over the game individually.
When he passes, everybody says he should shoot. When he shoots, everybody says he should pass. The guy's the best player in the game. He knows better how to get himself into the game and help his team win.
Another home victory in the playoffs last night in L.A. Celtics trying to get another home win tonight. Shot clock down to 7. Hamilton on Pierce. Pierce, a long three, in and out, and Ratliff the rebound.
One thing the Celtics have to do is get into their sets quick. They're taking too long.
Poor transition defense. Somebody blew an assignment, and Prince with it easy, too.
But they have a very limited offensive team on the floor if you're Boston. You've got Pierce as the one guy who can score it consistently and create plays. Everybody else has their limitations offensively.
Here's to House. House to Brown, deflected by Stuckey. And still Celtic ball with 7 on the shot clock. Now, with that said, Rondo and Big Baby Davis will check in, as will Ray Allen.
And here they're running the break. Good job by Prince staying wide, but that's just poor communication in transition. A lot of it stems from the fact that they're cross matches at the other end, and everybody's a little bit unsure who they've got in transition. You guard the closest man, not your man, after a missed shot.
Shot clock down to 5. Here's Rondo just back in, blocked by Ratliff. Ball goes to Posey. He heaves it up. In and out, almost went down. And the Pistons come the other way. Theo Ratliff, the veteran, getting some time with Rasheed Wallace picking up 2 personal fouls. Stuckey has Big Baby. And here's some mismatches now. Stuckey inside, draws the foul, count it, and 1.
Good aggressiveness, turns down the jump shot, puts the pressure on the mismatch, taking it to the paint area, getting the basket and the foul. Just a big-time read. The patience of Prince on the weak side, catches it, gets rid of the big man, gets into the interior. You talk about that strength, that Wade-like strength, able to finish with the contact.
Ray Allen picks up his foul. Why'd you go there?
You see how I just push his buttons, right?
Stuckey, by the way, this year, again, they had high hopes for him. He missed the first 25 games, broke his hand. So it took him a while to get going, but as we continue to say, a very impressive young player. He gives the Pistons their largest lead here in the early going. The Celtics still without a field goal here in the second. Ray Allen, double team, stolen by Stuckey. And then a foul on Allen. As Lindsey Hunter, my mistake, Lindsey Hunter with the steal, got tripped up. Allen talking with Tom Washington. And that's 3 fouls on Ray Allen. So Allen's going to have to sit for a while. Just over 3 minutes gone by here in the second quarter. Good help defense from Hunter. Hard to tell there, but Allen's going to sit with his 3 personals. Welcome back to Game 2 from Boston. And after trailing by 6, the Pistons now up 3 here in the second quarter. As we say here at the TD Bank North Garden, Celebrity Row is all about former Celtics, not really celebrities of Hollywood. And John Havlicek, the great John Havlicek, is here. Meanwhile, on the bench, and it just, in this building, it doesn't seem right that he's on the opposing team's bench.
I just want to see him run, even in his suit, and dive across the floor.
Dave Cowan's an assistant with Flip Saunders. Stuckey. And Garnett the rebound. For Boston, besides the big 3, no one has scored. Hunter or Stuckey that time with a steal. Rondo gets it back. Dangerous pass, threads the needle, and then Pierce is fouled. I don't know how he fit that through, but somehow the bounce pass got to Pierce. Let's send it over to Michelle.
Guys, you were just talking about John Havlicek. He is a childhood hero of Doc Rivers. And so when Doc Rivers' schedule got a little pushed back and he was running a little bit late on things tonight, I found out why. John Havlicek stopped by his office, and Doc was thrilled to speak with him, put some other things on hold, spent a few minutes with John Havlicek. I was told that Doc was almost like a kid in a candy store getting that visit, guys.
Hondo still looks great.
That's an understatement. The guy with 8 titles and really was the ultimate 6th man.
And hair. Why does he get hair at like 65 and I don't at 46? Or whatever. He looks unbelievable.
The all-time leading scorer in Celtics history. Pierce, who's number 6 on that list, knocks down the free throw. And the Celtics within 1.
Well, what we're witnessing in this ballgame so far is the Pistons
got to put it up. Lindsey Hunter, nice spark off the bench, a steal and a bucket. And the Pistons back up by 3. Garnett, and Ratliff put his hands on him. So a quick foul, and nearing the penalty with 7:37 remaining in the period.
It's a good job by Lindsey Hunter, turning down the jump shot, realizes that the clock is dwindling down, little step back, crossover dribble, knocks down the jumper over the taller Paul Pierce.
So Ratliff with his second. Garnett was saying the other day after the Game 1 victory, some nights we make it look easy. Some nights we look like garbage. But the defense is always the key night in and night out. It hasn't looked so pretty here tonight, as they're only down by 3.
Well, part of the problem is 23 points. All of those points have been scored by Pierce, Garnett, and Allen. Other guys have to get involved offensively, even if it's just off of hustle plays and energy and effort.
And I like Garnett, what he did in the last play, knowing that they were in the penalty, catching and swinging it through and using the aggression of Ratliff against him, making him foul him.
Celtics so far perfect from the free throw line tonight, 9 for 9. And here comes Hunter. Stuckey and Hunter, the backup point guards. Hamilton in there, so they've got 3 guards. And Lindsey Hunter, another one. Hunter 2 for 2 off the bench.
Can't say enough about Lindsey Hunter. At this stage of his career, comes in ready, impacts the ball game on the defensive end, picks up full court, and offensively, anything is a bonus, but he's ready to lock and load.
Pierce gets inside, hop step out to Posey, good open 3. Posey from downtown. Second three-pointer of the game for Boston. Crowd getting up, although being urged on by the noise meter. This crowd does not need a noise meter. McDyess. Good shooting touch from McDyess once again. He's 4 for 6, 8 points to lead the Pistons.
But they trapped the pick and roll, and it was a great reaction by McDyess to find the open area at the free throw line.
Posey not expecting the pass. Here comes Hamilton. Crossing up Garnett. Blocked by Garnett. Oh, what a rejection. Pierce spinning in traffic. Kicks it out. Open 3. And McDyess the rebound. McDyess back to Stuckey. Back to McDyess. Nice give and go. And a foul. McDyess gets knocked to the ground. Big Baby Davis hit him. And McDyess in double figures as the Pistons have their largest lead here in the first half with a timeout. Antonio McDyess, the one starter on this team who does not have a championship ring.
Well, turns down a jumper, and then the give it go to the basket. The contact from Big Baby. Pistons feeling good about their first half start.
Hey, man, straight up, put them in. And real talk, man, it has been a journey. All right, we not me. Each and every last one of y'all have gained confidence from being here. Take that, man. Use it when you have to.
Get out.
That's real talk to all y'all. So we're gonna go brotherhood on 3, baby. 1, 2, 3.
Scott with the Sports Center right now. Earlier this afternoon, the Red Sox completed a 4-game sweep of the Royals at Fenway. J.D. Drew and Mike Lowell both hit grand slams in an 11-8 win. Sox have won 7 straight. And make sure you stay tuned to ESPN after the Pistons and Celtics for full post-game analysis and reaction to Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals on Sports Center. Now back to Mike, Mark, Jeff, and Michelle.
Stewart, thank you. Bunker Hill here in Boston. Side of Game 2 as the Pistons leading by 4. Doc Rivers said Detroit will be better in Game 2. He's trying to remind his team here.
All they did was up the intensity, guys. That's all they did. Keep it going. You got to keep punching, guys. Keep punching. We put the pressure on them at the beginning. Now they're putting it on us. We got to turn it.
Right now, the Pistons, the one getting it done, is Rivers and the Celtics down by 4 as McDyess will go to the line for 1.
See, if I would have told my Knicks team to keep punching, they would have taken it literally. You know what I mean?
Yes, I do. I witnessed many of those punches as McDyess hits the free throw. How about McDyess now? 11 points.
They did it in game 1, too. He was the only starter that played up to his potential for Detroit. 14 points, 11 rebounds in game 1.
That came after a 17-point game in the clincher against Orlando, game 5. Rondo left open. Rondo knocks it down. Well, they really are tearing him to cheat.
When you're going to overhelp off of Paul Pierce and leave Rondo open, you have to make the defense pay the price. That time, Rondo ready to shoot.
Garnett has returned. McDyess, not that time. 4 starters in the game for the Celtics. Posey, the only bench player right now. As Allen's on the bench with 3 fouls. Garnett on his move, lots of contact. Wild shot won't go. Tip to Rondo. And a reaching foul. It's going to be on Stuckey. And that's going to be Stuckey's third and more free throws.
I'll tell you something, too. As a young player, Paul Pierce is instilling a lot of confidence in Rondo. Understands he's turning shots down, but I'm going to continue to make the proper play. Wide open, be ready to take the shot. Contested hand, but do you. Rondo knocks down the rhythm-catching jump.
And what he's going to have to do throughout his career is start to keep improving the shooting range. Good improvement from year 1 to year 2. Going forward, he's got to stretch that out to the three-point line so that he can really make people pay for the double teams and overhelps.
Sean, even in that situation, it's not about catching and always shooting. He has to realize sometimes the defense is going to run at me. I'm going to turn that shot down and make another play towards the basket. It's a good job of mixing it up.
You saw the 7 rebounds. Doc Rivers says for his size, he's one of the best rebounders he's ever seen. And again, you look at the size of him, he's a little guy. They list him as 6'1", about 170 pounds. He's not afraid to get in there on the boards. Hamilton. Blocking foul. Pierce in the restricted area. And Hamilton will go back to the line. Comes up hobbling just a little bit. Visit NBA.com. You can jump right into the 2008 playoffs now at NBAstore.com. Find the best selection of teams' jerseys, hats, T-shirts, and more. NBAstore.com. You guys having a grand old time here.
They're teaching them to disagree with the referees early in their lives. Oh, my. But we didn't see the replay on our screen, but we saw it on the screen above, and it was a very good call by Steve Javie. He was in the restricted area. Paul Pierce, that right foot, was in that restricted area. Good call.
Both teams shooting extremely well from the line. Celtics perfect in 11 times. And the Pistons 10 of 11. 3-point Detroit lead, just over 4.5 to play in the second. Pierce. Paul Pierce now with 13 points here in the first half. Posey nearly steals it, but it's still Detroit ball.
You know, because of Paul Pierce's unselfishness, a ball fake makes it believable that he's going to pass it. So he's able to ball fake and then get to his spot on the floor because he's a willing passer.
Phillips back in. Both teams with a starter with 3 fouls. It's Ray Allen for Boston, Rasheed Wallace. As Hamilton gets inside, another blocking foul. Pierce again commits the foul. Rasheed Wallace with 2 fouls, but he's going to come off the bench and come back in the game now. 2 fouls now on Pierce. Now, this time he's obviously outside the restricted area, but that's not why they called the block. They felt that he moved in. That's a close one.
I thought that was another good call by the officials. They have to be in a legal guarding spot as the ball's being picked up, not when the contact is made.
Good aggressiveness by Rip Hamilton, but give Paul Pierce credit. This is a star player attempting to make the right play, willing to take the hit on back-to-back plays.
You know, that's an underrated thing. You talk about how did the defensive culture of the Celtics change? it changed with a great scheme, but it also changed with a belief that defense is going to lead to winning. And Garnett sets the tone, and Pierce sets the tone. And you even see Ray Allen play much better defense than he's ever played.
Even Sam Cassell's playing defense. Bad pass from Pierce. Phillips able to pick it off and knock it down the other end, and the Pistons up by 5.
High IQ play by Phillips. Instead of challenging the bigger, stronger Garnett, stops and pops on the dime.
Rondo looking, another lazy pass. Tony Allen, who hasn't seen many minutes, tried to lob it into Garnett, and Garnett hammers it off the glass.
But now they have 2 non-range shooters on the floor in Rondo and Tony Allen. It makes it very difficult to score playing with Perkins, who's also not a range shooter as a big man.
Allen, a very good defensive player. That's why he's out there. And case in point right there, he made Hamilton take a bad shot. After going for the fake, he avoided the contact. Pierce, short. And a reaching foul is going to go against Perkins. Now they're in the penalties. Perkins picks up his second.
So we talked about the play of Phillips. On the break, it's one-on-one. Him in the big ticket, instead of challenging going to the cup, stops on a dime, gives him 9-cent change, knocks down nothing but the net.
The big ticket trying to stop Mr. Big Shot. I know how much you love nicknames.
I hate fouls in the backcourt even worse than nicknames. And the foul in the backcourt right there, and where it's such a struggle for both teams to score in the half court, you've got to know when you're in the penalty, back off, pull your hands back, and make them make shots.
For Rasheed Wallace, that's his first point of the night. He's 0 for 2. Again, he picked up a couple of quick fouls and sat for a good long stretch.
What do you think about that? By a bad play, by a low IQ play, you allow Rasheed to go to the line and try to get a rhythm, which he's had a tough time finding.
It's coming up on 3 minutes remaining here in the first half. Another grinded-out game between these 2 defensive-oriented teams. 2 best records in the league during the regular season. 2 best defenses in the East. Garnett tries again. Turnaround, backs it in. 12 for Garnett.
Now he worked the score there. He posted up on the left block. They swung it. He posted up on the right block. Both defended well by McDyess. Then he had to pop to the perimeter. Then he made multiple moves.
And another foul off the ball is going to go against Boston. It's Tony Allen. And more free throws for Rip Hamilton, who's already 6 for 6 from the line.
Well, Kevin Garnett is earning his money. Posting up, McDyess, great job with multiple efforts. Now he drifts to the perimeter, takes it to his right, crosses left, crosses back over to his right. He's making me dizzy. He banked it in. Oh, my.
2 guys working hard here in game 2 from Boston. With 2.5 minutes remaining in the second. Celtics down by 3.
I'm Stuart Scott. Here's the Born Conspiracy Studio update. Last night in L.A., the Lakers staged a dramatic come-from-behind victory in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. L.A. was down 20 in the third quarter. Behind Kobe, they rallied to win by 4 and take a 1-zip series lead.
All right, Stuart, here in the East in Game 2 right now. It's a 40-37 lead for the Detroit Pistons. Time for the Coors Light Cool Tracks, and it's all about Pistons defense, Mark.
You talk about defense. My man next to me that coached me put his seatbelt on because this gets him going. Peeking on defense, Lindsey Hunter in position to help, chasing down the loose ball. How about contesting the jump shot? Gets the block, trapping, sense of urgency defense. High hands, guys close out, ready to contest, ready to contain. Does a good job all across the board. It becomes contagious, forces Kevin Garnett into a traveling violation. A different Pistons team defensively. 11 forced turnovers in Game 1, already tonight 10.
And Hunter, a part of that. Lindsey Hunter off the bench. Now it's Chauncey Billups back in with Hamilton, Wallace, Prince, and McDyess. So the starting 5 in there for Detroit. They remain excellent from the free throw line.
Both teams are playing Very sound defense. Both teams are going to look back at the first half and say, we've got to stop fouling in the penalty. Stay out of the penalty and then stop fouling once we do get there.
Hamilton 1 of 2, 4-point Detroit lead. Tony Allen, who's played the fewest minutes of anybody on the Celtics in the playoffs, getting some big minutes here. Rondo left open. At that time, Garnett tries to keep it alive. Rondo 1 of 4. Celtics just 39% from the field. Well, Hamilton, you just wouldn't want to cover Hamilton. Running through screens, fighting all over as Billups kicks it out to Prince. Knicks on the drive. Shot clock down to 3. Wallace, Billups has to put it up. Nails it! Chauncey Billups from way downtown as the shot clock expires.
That could really sap your energy if you're the Celtics, because that was picture-perfect defense once again. The extra pass that Rasheed didn't make to close out game 1. That time found Billups.
Rondo gets inside. Can't hit the floater. Perkins tips the ball on himself. Nice play for Perkins. Billups running the show for Detroit. Drives on Rondo. Hamilton. Can't leave Hamilton open if you're Boston. Rip Hamilton having a terrific first half. And down the other end, a foul. Chauncey Billups shaken up. And he's hurting right now. Obviously, the first thing you think of is, did he re-aggravate the hamstring injury? But something's bothering him. He's saying he's okay. Billups, it's the right hamstring that he strained in Game 3 against Orlando. As Tony Allen will go to the line. Toyota halftime show coming up. Stuart Scott, John Barry, and Michael Wilbon. First half analysis. Plus a live interview with Derek Fisher. The Lakers up 1-0 in that series. Billups is saying he wants to stay in. There are the guys getting ready here at the TD Bank Road Garden. Wallace will sit. 2 missed free throws from Allen. 7-point lead for Detroit as we're in the final minute of the first half. Prince puts it in, and it's a 9-point lead for the Pistons. Garnett trying to drive down inside to Perkins. Perkins is fouled. But Detroit, they're contesting every pass, every shot. Let's take a look. Here's the play. And Billups felt hurt right afterwards. He was grimacing after passing it out.
No, we had a chance to talk to Billups, and he says, hey, I love to go left. And that's the problem I'm having right now when you talk about my right leg. That move, all the pressure is put on your right leg to get the contact of the defense off of him.
He has looked sharp tonight here in the first half. Those hamstring injuries can just be nagging and stay with you. Again, we don't know if that's the case, but he was hobbling a bit, but did not want to come out. As Perkins hits a couple of free throws.
Yeah, I can really relate being on first base, trying to go from first to third and a single. It was really tough back in those days.
Would you get hit by a pitch? Pistons by 7. Final seconds here of the second quarter. Hamilton trying to draw the foul and gets the bounce.
And he's lifted Tony Allen on every shot fake.
And a timeout called by Boston. Rip Hamilton, who had 15 points total in Game 1, has 15 points in the first half of Game 2. We'll be back with the final possession of the second. Tonight we're in Boston. Here in Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Flip Saunders and the Pistons lost Game 1, but terrific defensive effort and some good second quarter shooting from Rip Hamilton and his teammates, and they've got a 9-point advantage.
Interesting substitution by Doc Rivers, going for the last shot of this half. Puts Ray Allen back in the ball game with 3 fouls. Understanding you want to take the last shot. You don't want him picking up a fourth. either with a charge or getting back defensively.
Shot clock is turned off. Aaron Aflalo is checked in, the rookie from UCLA, for defensive purposes on this final possession. And Lindsey Hunter, big height advantage for Pierce, but Hunter is tough. Hunter pumps it away. Pierce gets it back. And then Hunter just happened to be in the wrong place as he trips him up. And free throws for Paul Pierce. He almost made a great play.
Well, he actually fouled him 2 or 3 times before that. It's a no-touch zone up there when you're faced up, facing the basket. And Lindsey Hunter has great hands, great strength in those hands, and has always been a terrific on-ball defender.
Hunter's 37 years old now. Hardly played during the regular season, was on the inactive list more than half the year. They wanted to play the young kids, but Flip Saunders knew come playoff time he would be able to use his experience. As Pierce will go to the line. Hunter started his career in Detroit, was their first-round pick back in '93. First 7 years with Detroit. He bounced around with Milwaukee, Toronto, helped win a championship with the Lakers. Came back to Detroit, helped them win a championship in 2004. And now a veteran. Doesn't know if he's going to finish up his career, but he's still a valuable asset. And again, they needed to save him because he didn't play at all during the regular season. But now getting some valuable minutes. All right, guys, we always talk about between Games 1 and Game 2, or between any games, the adjustments. Detroit has made some nice adjustments. Defensively, they've been terrific.
Well, I think it's more of a mental adjustment than it is a physical adjustment. Their intensity has been off the charts, and it's taken Boston out of what they want to do.
So what you want to do defensively is force the issue, and certainly the Pistons have been the team being the aggressor, setting the tone early and often.
Which is what they said they would do. And, you know, Jeff, you used to talk about this all the time when you were a coach. The team that loses the previous game comes out with more desperation in the next game.
Right, and I thought actually Boston came out very strong defensively. I think it's their fouling and foul trouble has hurt them at both ends. Obviously, the fouling is leading to Detroit points, but the foul trouble has a premier shooter, even though he's not shot that way for a while, and Ray Allen on the bench, and they've had to play less efficient offensive players.
Well, they opened up a 6-point lead early. Pistons missed their first 5 shots, but since then they've turned it around, especially here in this second period. Pierce hits the free throw. Plenty of time to get off a quality shot. Hamilton on the run. Hamilton out to Hunter. Hunter did not get it off in time. And that will end the second quarter, but a terrific quarter for the Pistons. Whereas Kevin Garnett and Paul Pierce did much of the scoring. It was Detroit in that second period outscoring Boston 32-23. The leading scorer, Rip Hamilton, with 15. He's with Michelle.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, Mike, 15 points tonight. You had 15 points in all of Game 1. So what's been the big difference for you tonight, Rip?
Just trying to get to the basket, trying to be aggressive, early. My guys are doing an excellent job of setting screens, getting me open. I'm just trying to take advantage of it.
On the defensive end, you guys have been very effective as well. What was the key adjustment defensively?
Just everybody being on the same page. I think early in the game, everybody been on the same page and everybody been on a string, and that's good for us.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.
Mike?
All right, Michelle. Coming up at halftime, the Toyota Halftime Show. Stuart Scott, John Barry, Michael Wilbon, they're in the building. We'll take a look at some of the particulars of the first half, then talk to Derek Fisher as he and the Lakers get ready for Game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. That tomorrow night on TNT. Strong first half for the Detroit Pistons. Kevin Garnett knew they'd come out strong. Offensively, they shoot 51% from the field. Defensively, they force 10 turnovers. Halftime of Game 2. Pistons by 7.
There can only be one. Who is the one?
Got it off the dunk and slam. Incredible.
Boston Celtics versus Detroit Pistons.
Do you believe this guy?
NBA Eastern Conference Finals. Only on ESPN. Welcome to the Toyota Halftime Show.
His name is Richard Hamilton. His nickname is Rip, and Rip has been ripping up the Celtics. 15 points in the first half. The Detroit Pistons, a 7-point cushion on the Boston Celtics, who are looking at their first home loss of these playoffs, unless they do something different in the second half. What's up? The Toyota Halftime Show. Stuart Scott, Michael Wilbon, and John Barry. A John Barry who predicted Ray Allen would have 20 points in this game. He's got 5, John.
No, I said 20 minutes. I meant it's 11 minutes. He's halfway home.
Oh, you meant minutes.
I just said he'd get 20.
Not the point.
Not specific, right?
Boston shooting 39% in the first half. The Pistons are shooting 51%. Why can't Boston control these guys?
Defense. The Detroit Pistons are now playing the kind of defense we associate with the Detroit Pistons and all these Eastern Conference championship runs. What is it, 6 in a row now? Not only that, we're talking about 6 steals and forcing the Celtics into 9 first-half turnovers, chasing Ray Allen around. Not that they had to necessarily, John, the way Ray's been shooting. But if you look at the perimeter shooters, Ray Allen, Rajon Rondo, Eddie House, P.J. Brown, they're like 3 for 15 in the first half. KG and Pierce have gotten their points. No one else for Boston is scoring.
Well, that's the problem when you have 2 non-scorers. You got Rondo and Perkins out on the floor, and tonight that's what they're doing. They're letting Garnett and they're letting Pierce go off. No one else has done anything. The most points is 5 that anybody else has, but that's the problem when you have 2 non-scorers on the floor. It just seems so difficult for Boston to score. They have to grind out every possession.
It seems like every
possession seems to run down. The clock runs down, and they get poor shots. And you're right. He's called it. Detroit would play great defense tonight, and they certainly have.
Detroit 11 of 17 shooting in the second quarter alone, and Detroit likes where they are because they're in a game 2, and they've won 8 straight game 2s. That's tied for the second most in NBA history. When we come back here on the Toyota Halftime Show, one of the stars of the Los Angeles Lakers, Derek Fisher, will join us live from Calabasas, California. Go ahead, smile, D-Fish. It's your world, especially with the 1-zip series lead over the defending champion. It's all happening when we come back.
Welcome back to the Toyota Halftime Show.
The focus of the sports nation for the NBA fan tonight is in LA for the Spurs-Lakers series. Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals last night. After this shot by Tebbe, Spurs took a 65-45 lead in the third quarter, and then it happened. You say, what is it? Kobe happened. And I'm not even sure that it's grammatically correct to say that one man happened, but basically one man did. Lakers won by 4. You know, we always hear that the last NBA team to repeat as champs were the Lakers with Shaq and Kobe, beginning in 2000, winning 3 straight. To be accurate, it was Shaq, Kobe, and Derek Fisher. The Lakers point guard joins us live now from Calabasas, California. Derek, when you guys were down 20 last night in the second half, what are you saying to each other on the court and during timeouts?
Well, we just, we continue to just, stay poised and composed. I mean, in an NBA game, which, John knows as well, the game is so long and the game is never over until the final buzzer sounds. And we just wanted to keep playing. We didn't have any rhythm to start the game, and we just kept playing, making plays, playing hard. And once we got aggressive, things started to change.
How quickly and in what ways do you all have to adjust when Kobe decides to take over?
Well, I think you pay attention to, Kobe's body language. You pay attention to his energy and how he was attacking out on the floor. And, you pick your spots when you can also make offensive contributions, but also, picking up your game defensively and making sure you provide the right spacing around him so that he can operate. And if the defense closes down and your defensive man helps off you, be ready to knock the shots down offensively.
So does Kobe say anything? Does he look at you, or does he just do it?
No, he just has a look about him. It's a look in his eyes. You can see it in his body language and his energy and the way he's moving up and down the court. And he'll let you know when he really wants the ball. He's done a great job this year of really allowing a lot of us to have more offensive opportunities and take advantage of our strengths and skills. But there are times in the game where, he lets us know he wants the ball, he wants to attack and be aggressive. And if the defense closes on him, he's going to do the right thing and kick the ball out.
Derek, you've been involved in a lot of difficult series with the San Antonio Spurs over your career. What do you expect from them now, with them having blown a 20-point lead and lost game 1?
Well, you know, nothing really too different. I mean, I think that's what makes the Spurs great now, and what has always made them great is they don't really get on too many of those roller coaster rides where, you know, one day they're emotional and high-strung, and then if something bad happens, all of a sudden, you know, they don't feel good about themselves. They're the defending champions. They've been the best team the last 10 years in the NBA, and you can't argue that. So I expect them to come back focused and ready to play, and, you know, still feeling like they can come into the Staples Center and beat us on our home floor.
Derek, Phil Jackson's teams are 40-0 when they win game one of a series, which is just absurdly consistent. Why is your coach so effective?
Well, you're trying to jinx us right now by bringing that up, Stu. But
I'm not trying. I'm giving you the facts.
I appreciate it. No, I think, you know, Phil and our entire coaching staff, in my opinion, are the best in the business at, you know, really helping their teams understand what it takes to not just win in the playoffs and win one game, but how to really establish momentum within a playoff series and the adjustments that you make from game to game. And, you know, I've never been around, you know, anything like it before, where they really allow you to be yourself and make your mistakes, and then give you, you know, real true information and true knowledge that you can use out on the floor. And it's a pleasure working with Phil and our entire coaching staff.
Hey, Derek, do you know who has the highest three-point shooting field goal percentage in the history of the NBA playoffs with at least 300 attempts? You know who that is?
I just learned this information about 2 days ago, and I was mad at the person who told me then, and I'm mad at you for telling me now, because I didn't even get a three-point shot last night.
Well, you are the one, and you are the answer to that question. We appreciate the time, Derek. Good luck in Game 2 tomorrow night.
All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
All right, one of the classiest guys you'll ever meet, athlete or no. Hey, fans, let your voice be heard. Log on to ESPN.com. Search Sports Nation. Paul Pierce got to bring his team back if his team wants to stay undefeated at home in these playoffs. Second half, Celtics-Pistons coming back.
We had 27 assists the last game. We have 5 right now, all right? That means the ball's not moving, and that means the pressure is bothering you. They're putting pressure on you. They're trying to take you out of your stuff, and you're allowing them to, all right? We got to be able to execute and run our stuff. To me, we can't be any worse, and it's a 7-point game, all right? So let's correct our stuff and go out, get back to us being the guys that are attacking them. Right now, they're doing the punching, all right? We're doing the receiving. We got to turn that around.
Look at our first half stats presented by AT&T. Terrific second quarter shooting for the Pistons, got them 52%. Both teams excellent from the line. Turnovers very big. Celtics staying in it by out-rebounding by 10. Some of the numbers from the first 2 quarters. And welcome back to Game 2. Our highlight, of course, was watching you dance to Kung Fu Fighting during the halftime entertainment here. But that's kind of the way the series went, or this game went in the first half. The defense, everybody's kind of Kung Fu Fighting out there.
Well, when locked in, the Detroit Pistons are as good as anybody defensively in this league.
And that's part of our Gatorade Cooler Talk.
You hear it, you see it here. Multiple situations, very good attention to detail. Here, trapping the pick and roll, Detroit. Now the closeout game. From a help situation, how are you going to close out? Guarding the ball one-on-one and ultimately forcing the turnover. The only thing that Detroit has to be concerned with is they fouled too much and they gave up 8-second shots.
And you see the Celtics offense again. The turnovers almost as many in the first half as they did in all of Game 1. Meanwhile, Mark, for the Pistons,
If you're the best backcourt in basketball and act like it, certainly Chauncey Billups on a mission early and often, looking to be aggressive, taking shots and making shots. Rip Hamilton doing the same thing. Isolation from Flip Saunders puts him in a position to prosper. Aggressive move, and then Billups make a play for somebody else. Rip Hamilton running off the penetration of Billups, ready to lock and load, knocks down the shot. The backcourt of the Pistons have made a statement.
Hamilton, as many points in the first half of Game 2 as he had in all of Game 1. Billups looks sharp as well as we send it to Michelle.
Well, hey, guys, I just spoke with Doc Rivers, and he said on offense, early in the game, they had the pace they wanted, but then their pressure pressure bothered us. We have to solve that. He's also really unhappy that the Pistons shot 51.5%. He said, we're a better defensive team than that. We have to keep them off the line and stop committing silly fouls and winning the bonus. Guys.
Rondo gets an open look. He's had many. He's not been able to get him to go down. McDyess tips it. Nice pass inside Rondo. Ray Allen with his second field goal. He's still struggling at 3 fouls in the first half. Maybe that will get him going. Rondo, meanwhile, with his 8th rebound. Hamilton. Perkins the boards. Pierce steps up for 3. Puts it in. Quick 5 points and a lead just like that, cut to 2.
That's the pace that Doc Rivers was talking about. Running off makes and misses. Rondo pushing the basketball.
Prince, good hard drive. Oh, McDyess comes flying in. And the foul knocking Pierce down in the process.
That's a big-time offensive rebound by Antonio McDyess.
McDyess just playing inspired basketball. He's got 13 points.
People forget the career path was on until he had multiple injuries. This guy was a big-time player.
Rondo kicks it out. Garnett from outside. And Rasheed Wallace the rebound. Wallace doing a better job on the boards, but still without a field goal.
You make a good point about McDyess. There was no difference between McDyess, Wallace, and Garnett in their prime. 3 of the best in the business at the power forward position.
He was an all-NBA third-teamer with Denver. Shot clock winding down. Allen pokes it away. Good defense from Ray Allen. Pierce, Garnett. Garnett again. Back to 2.
But Rip Hamilton didn't even cross half court. You've got to run back in games like this. Too many Pistons on that possession in a dog trot.
Garnett now guarding Wallace. Garnett the other day called him one of the most underrated players in the NBA, him and Joe Johnson. Yes, tough shot from Prince. Awkward angle, able to knock it in. Rondo. Little ball fake. Oh, almost went down as Wallace threw it away. Ray Allen with the steal, his second steal here in the third. Trying to do things to get him going. Puts it in. Big sequence for Ray Allen and the Celtics.
Well, whether he made or missed that shot, I like the bounce to Ray Allen's game right now. Kept the ball alive the previous possession for Rondo, and that time, one-on-one, made up his mind, I'm going to get a look.
And you can hear the extra cheer from the fans. Their all-star guard has really been struggling as Hamilton misses. Ball batted around. Hamilton tries it again. Perkins to Allen. Allen. Too quick, but Garnett right there to clean it up. And the Celtics have tied it up. Timeout Pistons as Boston has come out with a roar here in the third quarter.
Struggling offensively to get going, will find a way to impact the basketball game. Ray Allen, good job of reading the passing lane, comes up with a steal, patient, one-on-one, says, I earned this look, knocks down the jump shot, and the Celtics continue to roll, punishing the Pistons on the offensive board. The big ticket with the putback, we have ourselves a ball.
And Allen with 9 points. They've been waiting for a while for him to break open, perhaps a start.
There can only be one. Who is the one?
Got it off the dunk and slam. Incredible.
Boston Celtics versus Detroit Pistons.
Do you believe this guy?
NBA Eastern Conference Finals. Only on ESPN.
Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull brings you the adventures of the Eastern Conference Finals.
After cutting Detroit's lead to 2 in the last minute of the game, Reggie Miller looked to top on a layup. However, Tayshaun Prince appeared out of nowhere to make what is regarded as one of the best defensive plays in playoff history.
The adventure continues now.
Boston, Ray Allen, igniting the crowd, couple of steals, couple of buckets. And they have waited for a while. He has been struggling big time, Mark. You know it's a matter of time. Now, he's still not knocking down jumper after jumper, but this is a start to get his confidence back.
It gives life to everybody in the building, and so much pressure on him. They're about to put an APB on him, but found his rhythm, and it started defensively, creating havoc, and then was ready to take and make a shot.
Hamilton misses Pierce the rebound. Ray Allen said it's been tougher than anything he's been through right now because he's waited to get back to these big playoff games, and he draws the foul. Phillips with the personal. That's his first.
Well, Ray Allen obviously struggling, anticipates the outlet pass, steals it, and as Mark said, hey, he earned it. Good crossover, good balance, good rhythm, and knocks it in and is excited.
The Celtics regain the lead. Allen played with the Milwaukee Bucks back in 2001. They went to the conference finals that year. As you see his numbers in the last 9 games, missed the playoffs the last 2 years. He was so excited to get into the playoffs here with Boston in his first year with the Celtics. Started off fine, but started struggling in that Cavaliers series. It just has snowballed to perhaps the biggest shooting slump of his career in big games that he so desperately wants to play well in.
I think that's why Doc Rivers wants Rondo to push the basketball. Ray Allen can roam and get open shots just off of pushing the ball in transition.
And Allen, excellent defense, forces another turnover. They won't get credited with a steal for that, but his defense forced the turnover.
Well, he did that in the first half in the low post on a handoff situation. So 2 outstanding plays by Ray Allen being in the right body position and then didn't let Hamilton get any separation.
What it seems like he said to himself is, hey, I can be inconsistent as far as shooting, but nothing holds me or stops me from being an outstanding defender. He has had that mindset from the start of this ball.
Rondo tied up. Perkins against McDyess. Allen feeling it. Perkins back to Allen. Allen jumper, knocks it down. Ray Allen has come alive. A 15-4 run to start the third quarter for the Celtics. Garnett and Wallace really banging each other down low. Officials letting them go at it. Good ball denial from Allen here. Phillips forces up the shot. Phillips felt he was hit. Allen puts a 2-pointer in and out. And his foot just on the line. This place would have exploded if that one went down.
Great shot, great aggressiveness. A little heat check by Ray Allen.
Prince against Rondo. Big mismatch. Excellent ball movement. And Rip Hamilton nails a very big 3. And that cuts it back to 1.
But it all started with a mismatch in the low post. They had to double for Rondo against Prince, which leads to an open 3.
I talked to Chauncey Billups before the game. He said, this is a veteran team. We don't get rattled. And just sense that with the patience offensively.
Garnett. Tough shot that time. Billups will bring it the other way. Chauncey Billups, 11 points, 5 assists, playing very well here in game 2. Wallace for 3. Finally gets one to go down. Rasheed Wallace had missed 15 consecutive 3-pointers. He'd been 1 for his last 20 before hitting that one.
He's a big-time shooter, just like Ray Allen as Paul Pierce knocks down the basket. You got to stay at home with those 2 shooters.
All tied up with 5.5 to go here in the third. What was an ugly pace in a game that kept stopping with whistles and fouls in the first half. Picked up a little bit of a flow here in the third. Phillips for 3. Puts it in. Chauncey Billups. And now the Pistons coming back with 3-pointers. 3 in a row. Garnett, double team. Rondo taking his time. Tried to force it, deflected out of bounds by McDyess. And it's going to be Celtic ball with 7 on the shot clock.
I'm sure these people in this area can appreciate Tom Brady-like patience of Chauncey Billups. Running his offense, one trip for somebody else, that time pick and roll, knocks down the chip.
7 on the shot clock. Crowd back into it. After this big start to the third quarter, Garnett for 3. That's not his game. Garnett, a couple of bad shots as Allen now picks up his 4th foul. Not a smart play from Allen, who's starting to finally get it going. Now, if you're Doc Rivers, you got your guy getting a little rhythm. You can't take him out now, can you?
I love what he's doing. He's playing him. Got him going a little bit. Let him keep playing. Like the move.
Especially when Doc Rivers, you say, hey, I've been waiting for this Ray Allen to show up. No way am I going to stop him.
Phillips and Rondo. Rondo almost a steal. Phillips draws the foul. He'll go back to the line. And a technical foul called on Rondo.
And Mike, that's the same defense we gave Rondo props for playing, but gambled on the block against Phillips. You can't try to gamble. Your job is to stay in back of them and make life tough for them. You gamble, you give them a free lane to the cup.
So 1 shot technical, and then 2 shots. So Phillips will go to the line for 3 free throws here. Chance to extend Detroit's lead.
Hey, Rondo, your job is to stay behind Billups. You're battling, no sense in gambling. Once you do, you open up the interior of your defense and you put Perkins in a bad position.
So it's Sean Corbin handing out the tee. Rondo felt that Billups pushed off before he was able to get the entry pass. Doc Rivers trying to plead the case as well. The Pistons have answered back. That was a big hit to start the third quarter for Boston. But as you said, guys have both talked about it, but Pistons never seem to get flustered. They come back nicely after that opening start here in the third period.
But Boston has made a number of defensive mistakes to start this quarter that have led directly to the 3-point shots and then to the free throws.
Detroit answers back with a 12-2 run. Hamilton and Billups have combined 35 points. The Pistons back up by 6. Garnett a little closer this time and nails it. 18 for Garnett.
And once again, it's Paul Pierce. If you're going to front me, if you're going to double team, I'm going to make the right play. The right play is getting KG and River for the open jump.
Billups, nice hesitation. Oh, blocked by Perkins. That's his 2nd block of the game. Rondo for Allen. Rondo will set it up. Shot clock down to 7. Bruce has been quiet. Good double team. Hamilton with a steal.
And again, doubling off Rondo.
McDyess was wide open, but they couldn't get it to him. Now McDyess has Ray Allen. He's got 4 fouls. And Pierce comes over to foul. And Pierce will pick up his 3rd. Celtics not in a penalty yet.
You're searching for good offense. Get it in the hands of your best offensive guy. When McDyess cheats the play, Paul Pierce the touch pass to Kevin Garnett in rhythm. That's as good an offense as you could possibly run.
Prince to inbound. Phillips gets inside, trying to draw some contact. Top of the backboard's in. Garnett to Rondo. Rondo, 1 man to beat. Oh, and there's a foul on Wallace. He knows it. That's his 3rd. As Rondo goes down hard. Crowd wants more, but that was just a good hard foul.
I like the play by Rondo, putting pressure on Rasheed Wallace in transition, puts the shoulder in him, gets an angle, and attacks the basket, causing the contact.
Rondo slow to get up.
It's just one-on-one basketball. You got to use your speed and use the angles. Rondo does. Good foul by Rasheed Wallace. Not flagrant at all. Just a good foul, forcing Rondo to go to the line.
And I thought that was good restraint by the officials. Even though Rondo fell hard, there was no flagrant foul there. A lot of less experienced officials may got got caught up in the moment of the impact of Rondo's fall and charged Wallace with a flagrant foul. Good call by the officials.
Tom Washington, the official, made the call. Again, veteran crew at this time of year. Free throws a good 2-point game. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals here from Boston. Celtics took game 1. Pistons trying to even things up. Both teams have had leads. Largest of the game has been 9. That's Detroit. Hamilton. And Allen has picked up his 5th foul. Ray Allen, who finally got a little offense going, is now going to have to sit down.
Outstanding play by Rip Hamilton. You have to respect his jump shooting ability. So comes off the screen, uses the pump fake to get Ray Allen in the air, and then the contact, no question about it.
And the Celtics have to be more disciplined when the Pistons shot fake. They've been reacting all night on every shot fake. They've got to stay down and make them make shots. They isolated Ray Allen up top to a cleared side. Good shot fake by Hamilton. Good use of his body to draw the foul.
No, kids don't know. You don't understand. That's not going through the motions move by Rip Hamilton. He exploded to that position, therefore telling Ray Allen, I'm going up for a shot. His body language forced Ray Allen to try to explode and block the shot.
And what people in the NBA do is they show the shot fake after they pick up the dribble, not always just before they use the dribble. That's a quality NBA move.
Meanwhile, Allen will sit with the 5 fouls. He hasn't fouled out all season long, regular season or playoffs. Rondo trying to draw some contact. Gets it to Garnett. Garnett doubled. Rondo open. Bumps into McDyess and a foul on McDyess. They're not the penalty yet, so the Celtics will inbound and we'll have a timeout. 2:47 remain, third quarter here in Boston. Pace has picked up. Two best teams in the East battling. 4-point Detroit lead. TD Bank North Garden, the site of Game 2 of the East Finals. Pistons right now trying to even the series up. They've got a 4-point lead. Let's go with our GMC game track. Rip Hamilton, their leading scorer since he's been here in Detroit. 20 points. Excellent from the free throw line as well. The entire team 20 of 22. Meanwhile, Paul Pierce leading the Celtics in scoring with 20. Garnett right behind him with 18 points. But Billups having a strong game. He was not a factor in game 1, a big factor here in game 2. Meanwhile, Ray Allen of the Celtics hasn't been a factor much scoring-wise. Finally got it going here in the third quarter. Crowd fired up as he hit some shots, made some steals, but he picked up his 5th foul, and he's going to sit for a while. Rondo to the line.
Coach and I talked about, totally agree with the move of Doc Rivers, keeping Ray Allen in the ball game with 4 fouls. Just a tough play by Ray, picking up his 5th. But you got a guy establishing a rhythm finally. Got to trust that the veteran will not pick up his 5th.
I'll be honest, I might have left him in even after 5. I mean, to me, what's the difference? He hasn't been playing well. You got him playing well. Maybe just keep letting him roll. Now, you open yourself up to a lot of second-guessing, but forget the second-guessing. You're the one in the arena.
You want to get your all-star guy going and get a good feeling.
So there's no way I leave him in with 5. There's too much left to go in this ball game for me to risk that.
I don't understand what the risk is.
Hamilton to McDyess. McDyess misses. Prince tip won't go. Gets it back again. And a foul call. It's against Rajon Rondo. And that's his 2nd. He's face guarding. But you can't touch the face, so Prince will go to the line.
Yeah, but these are just bad fouls. You're just gifting people points. I mean, we can laugh at the picture, but if you're the Celtics coaching staff, you're cringing right now at your lack of basketball intelligence, knowing the penalty. I mean,
I think he just scolded me for laughing.
No, it's not.
Me too. I giggled a little.
Yeah, I mean,
it's no laughing matter, young man.
No, but it's just they're not having a good success rate shooting the ball from on your foot. They're just beating you with lack of intelligence right now.
And then the Pistons are taking advantage by knocking down free throw after free throw. They're 22 of 24. And they lead back up to 4. Garnett doubled. Trying to find an opening. 5 on the shot clock. Rondo with Wallace on. Shuffle pass, a bad one, stolen.
But their whole flow has been disrupted by Detroit's double teaming off Rondo. They are neglecting him. They're not guarding him. They're just trying to double. And another foul along the baseline by Garnett.
And Hamilton will go back to the line. I think it was on Posey.
Well, here they're doubling off of Rondo, taking Garnett out of his post-up, not really guarding him, giving him a cushion, and then he tries to throw some underhanded pass off the dribble that if the foul at the other end made him cringe, that one made Doc super cringe.
You were right, the foul was on Garnett. That's his second. And the parade to the free throw line continues. Hamilton around this. Game 3 of this series. Shifts to the Palace of Auburn Hills. ABC will have it for you Saturday night. Our coverage starts at 8 Eastern, GMC NBA Countdown. The question is, will it be tied at 1, or will the Celtics have a 2-0 lead? Rondo will sit.
Well, once again, Doc Rivers is a former player in this league. He understands how Rondo is being defended. It's inserts Eddie House for offensive purposes. You have to make the defense pay the price when they're going to play 5-on-4.
And the Pistons putting pressure on House, not going for his ball. Minute and a half left here in the third. Pierce, tough shot, knocks it down.
But there's no way Pierce would have been able to go one-on-one if Rondo was in the game. Because House has to be guarded to the three-point line, Pierce is given more space to operate.
And immediately pays dividends. Stuckey's back in the game. Shot clock down to 8. Prince to Stuckey. Stuckey, nice fake, open jumper. Stuckey not afraid. The rookie now with 5 points off the bench. Phillips' arrest, that's been a big part of the Pistons' success. These young guys, not only giving the starters a rest, but they come out and contribute. Pierce on the drive, one-on-one with Hamilton. Bad pass stolen by Stuckey, and then Posey with another foul. And more free throws coming up for Detroit. Stuckey will go to the line with 40.6 seconds remaining, and the Pistons by 5. Stuckey, a good free throw shooter. In fact, in the playoffs, he hit his first 27 from the line.
You make a good point, because in the past, Flip Sons would be thinking, okay, I got to get ready to get Chauncey Billups back into the ballgame. He has young guys that he has coming off the bench, especially in Stuckey, that can buy him more precious time, and Billups does not have to be rushed.
In previous years, he wasn't playing the young guys a lot during the regular season. Certainly not at crunch time and important times, but he did this year, and it's paying off now.
Yeah, but he didn't have as good enough. He didn't have as good as young guys. I mean, just playing young guys isn't the answer. Playing quality players that give you a chance to win. Stuckey gives you a chance to win because he's a quality player.
And every day in practice and in the game, he's making a statement. I can be trusted come playoff time.
Pierce finding Davis. Davis blocked, but a foul. Pistons didn't like the call, but Aaron Davis will shoot. As Ratliff picks up his third.
His third personal.
Everybody fouled everybody there. Wallace had a clean block. It looks like Davis and Ratliff fouled each other. Davis got hit though, so he'll shoot 2. Still counts as 1. It bounces off the rim. Tony Allen getting some more time.
Now that's where Paul Pierce's free throw did a similar dance in Game 7. Late. They must have a little home court advantage down there.
I think Paul Pierce would say that Red Auerbach is 2 for 2.
Of course, one of the big free throws in Celtics history. Don Nelson once hit one in Game 7 to get a victory for them. Shot clock and game clock about a second difference right now as we wind down the third. Wallace, the three-pointer, puts it in. It's 2 here. He's been struggling for a good stretch, but 2 big ones, and this is the largest lead of the game. Equals it for Detroit. Eddie House, and that will end the third quarter. Pistons led by 7 at halftime. Boston came storming out, went up by as many as 4 here in the third period. But because of the free throw shooting and Rip Hamilton, Detroit comes back. They also hit a bunch of threes and will head to the fourth quarter with Detroit holding a 9-point lead. Rip Hamilton, 15 points total in game number 1. But here in game 2, he's got 21. Fourth quarter coming up here at the Eastern Conference Finals from Boston.
Intensity.
The Lakers take the lead on Magic Johnson's running sky hook.
Hard.
Back in Boston with the Celtics trailing by 9. Doc, a strong start to the third quarter, and just when Ray Allen seemed to be getting it going, he got his 5th foul.
It's the basketball guys. I mean, what can you do? So I wanted him to stay in to see if he could play through it. Picked up his 5th foul. That's fine. Ray's going to get it back. We can see that. But, you know, Michelle, they got 78 points. I'm not really worried about our scoring. I'm worried about our defense right now.
And how about the fouling by your team? Some not so smart fouls. That's a tough thing to solve. What do you do?
Well, we got to stop fouling. It's not that tough to solve. We got to stay down, pull our hands back, and play smarter defense.
Doc, thank you.
Thank you.
Mike?
All right, Michelle. Pistons scored 79 points total in game 1. They already have 78 as we start the fourth. And this is the first time at home in the playoffs that the Celtics have trailed starting the fourth quarter. They've had the lead at home every fourth quarter of the playoffs, and are obviously perfect at home at 9-0. Right now, the Pistons playing well. Stuckey stripped from behind by Rondo, and then a held ball with Clint Davis.
And you see to start the fourth quarter, Doc Rivers goes back with Rondo because of the pressure that Stuckey and Hunter can put on the backcourt of the Celtics.
Officials conferring. Doc Rivers thought there should have been a foul on Stuckey after Davis got it. He's waiting for the decision. So they have their chat, and he'll jump it up. Davis with certainly the height advantage.
But he has very little elevation off the floor. Don't be surprised to see Stuckey actually win the tip.
Players jockeying for position. Back tip, Brown trying to save it. Last touch by Ratliff. Now, Pierce and Rondo, the only 2 starters out there for Boston. Garnett's getting his rest. Posey, Davis, and P.J. Brown out there with the 2 starters. Lindsey Hunter putting a lot of pressure on Rondo. Rondo, tough shot.
Talk about a smart play. Sometimes when you're being pressured like that, forget about running offense. Break the guy down one-on-one. Rondo does that and gets the lane.
Only his 2nd field goal. But it brings the Celtics within 7. Stuckey and Posey. Rodney Stuckey.
I tell you what, Mike, I'm going to read mine. Coach Van Gundy likes this guy a lot more than he did earlier.
No, I never said I didn't like him. I said I wasn't ready to compare him to Dwayne Wade. But you're right. I like his poise, his strength, and his ability to make shots and plays.
And he's not afraid of the big moment. We've seen him in the playoffs. Obviously, as a rookie, his first NBA playoff experience in this postseason.
Trying to start something between me and the stuck.
Rasheed Wallace, that high release. And the Detroit Pistons with their largest lead of the game. A 12-point advantage. 11-point advantage.
You're seeing the damage that Rasheed Wallace can do on the offensive end of the floor. At his size, length, ability to knock down a three-pointer and then put him on the block. And he's a big-time post-up player.
Celtics working hard in this possession. Pierce. 24 for Paul Pierce.
But nothing's easy for Boston right now. The floor is congested because they have very little shooting and thus very little spacing.
Stuckey to the basket. Oh, terrific play from the rookie. Rodney Stuckey, impressive once again. 11 points in just 13 minutes. Posey a little out of control. And a foul on Ratliff. That's his fourth.
My apologies. This is Wade-like. Crossover, both love to go left, and then the little contortion and the finish. I'm late on the bandwagon, but I'm on.
The young man grew up just outside of Seattle, Washington, went to Eastern Washington for 2 years of college, was a big-time scorer, one of the tops in the nation in both his freshman and sophomore year. Now, first-round pick with Detroit, and they think he can be a star. Ray Allen for three. Last touch by the Celtics. Well, we saw last night in the West, the home team come back from 20 down. That was a third-quarter lead for San Antonio. The Celtics going to have to try to come back from 11 down here in the fourth. Prince on the drive. Shot clock at 4. Hunter, that's a two-pointer. And McDyess a rebound. Tony McDyess, another good game for the Pistons. Prince pulls back, looks up at the shot clock, says 5. Prince against Pierce, drives again. Tough one-hander. Won't go, Garnett the rebound. Quick outlet. Rondo has one man to beat. Drives. This is Allen right there on the follow. Good hustle from Ray Allen.
But I just don't understand why there's so many guys still in the backcourt. Run the floor. You're in the fourth quarter of a decisive game for either team.
You're talking about 5 guys on the other end of the floor. This is the Eastern Conference Final.
Stuckey fires away. Rodney Stuckey again. 13 points in 15 minutes for the rookie.
You talk about the confidence that Flipson has in this young man, not just playing him, but going to him offensively.
Pierce trying to draw some contact. Ray Allen the rebound. Pierce comes back up with it. Pierce to P.J. Brown. Brown's jumper is good. Right now, Boston can't get any stops, and one of the reasons, the impressive play from this rookie, Rodney Stuckey, 6 points in the period. Now Rondo on it. Prince, nice spin move, comes up short, nearly had it, and McDyess again out hustling. Stuckey. Looking. Rondo passes up a shot to paint. Ray Allen on the drive. Oh, what a finish from Allen. Timeout Detroit as the Celtics cut it to 7. Ray Allen's best game in a while. Right now, though, Detroit getting some big plays from a young man named Rodney Stuckey.
Oh, also Rasheed Wallace on the block with the fadeaway. You talk about that high release, avoiding P.J. Brown, and it's Stuckey. No poor man's D-Wade, it's grown man Stuckey. The lift, the elevation over Ray Allen. My goodness, it's good to be young.
6:55 remaining in the fourth quarter. Pistons trying to even this series up here in Boston.
Man, straight up, put them in. And real talk, man, it has been a journey. Doggone right, we not me. Each and every last one of y'all have gained confidence from being here. Take that, man. Use it when you have to.
Get out.
That's real talk to all y'all. So we're gonna go brotherhood on 3, baby. 1, 2, 3.
Boston Celtics care about the community. Kevin Garnett named winner of the NBA's Community Assist Award for the month of April in recognition for his outstanding work in the community. Last month, Garnett donated over 600 tickets to the children in the Boston school system, supporting his Big Ticket Challenge, a program that emphasizes the importance of education, encourages the kids to do well at school. As the winner of the Community Assist Award, Garnett receives a $5,000 donation to the charity of his choice. The NBA, where caring happens. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals from Boston. And right now, Detroit leading 86-79. Pistons led by as many as 11.
That's right. It's not just the NBA that cares. Your two guys care. Happy birthday, my friend.
Oh, that's so nice of you.
And it's a big one. 52 years old. That's a great day.
Getting me emotional here in the playoffs.
Don't get teary-eyed.
I got to put these candles out.
Man, make a wish and blow out the candles. You kidding me? There we go.
And don't wish for Mark to leave either.
Meanwhile, the Celtics trying to come back. It's been a rough game for them. Defensively committing a lot of fouls. Sending the Pistons to the line already 28 times. It's been the Pistons defense that's been a huge story here tonight. Hamilton. Won't go. P.J. Brown, the rebound. Rondo calling out. Rondo 10 points, 6 assists, 8 rebounds. Brown, they're leaving him open. Hits another shot. P.J. Brown, who hit one of the biggest shots of these playoffs in Game 7 against the Cavs, called it the biggest shot of his career, knocking down some shots here in the fourth.
That's a smart play by Rondo. Rather than forcing it to Garnett, finds P.J. Brown on the perimeter.
There's Ratliff. Back to Hamilton. Shot clock at 2. Ratliff drives inside. And a whistle. And a 3-second violation. Would have been a 24-second violation. Either way, it's a turnover. And the Celtics get it back. Timeout. B.J. Brown, who they signed for his defense, his rebound and experience, not for his offense, hitting a big jumper as the Celtics try to mount a comeback here in the fourth.
There can only be one. Who is the one?
Got it off the dunk and slam. Incredible.
Boston Celtics versus Detroit Pistons.
Do you believe this guy?
NBA Eastern Conference Finals. Only on ESPN.
Are you tough enough? It's your stuff enough. Let 'em roll, let 'em go, let 'em fly. Took a chance on a chance. Got to be in it to win.
Welcome back to Boston, Massachusetts. Game 2 of the Eastern Conference Finals. The Celtics took Game 1. Pistons trying to even things up. They've led for most of this game. But what was an 11-point lead here in the fourth quarter has been cut to 5. A 6-0 run by the Celtics, who try to remain perfect at home in the postseason. Garnett inside, banks it in. Wallace wanted a push-off. As Kevin Garnett now with 20 points. And 8 straight now for the Celtics.
That's really good offense and good defense. Kevin Garnett with a big-time finish.
And the crowd back into it. McDyess left open. He knocks it down. Another clutch shot from Antonio McDyess, who's 7 of 11 from the field.
This league is a tremendous luxury to have big guys that can shoot and jump.
It's almost a necessity now if you're going to run quality offense.
Allen. That's a 3. Ray Allen from downtown. And it's a 2-point game. Prince on the drive. Blocked, but a goaltend. Doc Rivers doesn't like the call. 2 points for Tayshaun Prince.
That's a tough play. That's a heck of a defensive play by KG. Tough goaltending play.
Ray Allen had not hit a three-pointer in the previous 3 games, 0 for 6. Hitting a big shot there. Now a 2. Puts it in. Ray Allen again has come alive, and the Celtics back within 2.
And what Allen is doing is mixing it up. One time comes off the down screen for the 3. That time doesn't settle.
9 of his 22 here in the 4th. Hamilton answers back. Rip Hamilton having a big game with 23.
Gotta love these Pistons. Don't panic. Just continue to trust the offense.
A team that never seems to get rattled. DJ Brown left open. Pierce on the drive. Pierce on the pull-up. Block. He felt he got hit. As we go under 4 minutes remaining. Prince left wide open and misses the 3. Garnett ahead. Paul Pierce spins and a blocking foul on Chauncey Billups. Pistons not in the penalty, so the Celtics will take it out of bounds.
Struggling all series long. Ray Allen finding a way to come off the screen. Been working on this with the lights out. Well, when they come on and people in the building, trust your game. Ray Allen knocks down the 3 and then puts the ball on the floor, attacking the paint. And Mama loves it.
That's Ray's mom, Flo. Cheering on her son, who's perhaps the biggest struggle of his career when you consider the game's importance. He's admitted that. But he has come alive here in Game 2. But the Celtics still trail by 4. Garnett looking, reached in. Wallace knocked it away. Garnett hits the jumper. Everybody knocking down shots now.
Well, this is what playoff basketball is all about. You're getting quality possessions on both ends of the floor and solid deep.
A big defense jam there at the New Garden. Garnett and Rasheed Wallace battling. Billups to the basket. Back to McDyess. His jump shot. That won't go. Prince tips it out. Terrific play from Tayshaun Prince, who lines up the jumper and knocks it down.
But this is just substandard defense by the Celtics. Catch and shoot plays, getting open looks, second shots, getting beat to loose balls.
All 5 starters, plus Stuckey in double figures for the Pistons. Terrific balance. Shot clock down to 7. Ray Allen fires away, blocked by Hamilton. Doc Rivers crying for a foul right now. Not necessarily on the shot he thought he got hit before. 94-90. Hamilton. Wallace. Jump shot. Knocks it down. It's a 6-point lead for the Pistons. And the Celtics call timeout. Rivers is hot, yelling at Steve Jaddy. And we'll have time. Boston trying to make a huge comeback. But the Pistons hitting some big shots here to hold them off right now. Rasheed Wallace, one of 6 Pistons in double figures. He has 12. And with 2:19 remaining, here in the 4th quarter of Game 2, Pistons with a 6-point lead.
I'm Stuart Scott. Let's take a look at the Honda Studio Update. Hey, you got to make sure you tune in to ESPN after Game 2 of the Pistons and Celtics for post-game reaction and analysis on SportsCenter, live from the TD Bank North Garden.
All right, Stewart, 2:19 remaining in the 4th. The Celtics with a big run here in the 4th quarter, cut an 11-point lead to 2. But the Pistons do not get rattled.
Oh, they don't panic. Been there and done that. You talk about offensively, Rip Hamilton, rhythm jumper. How about offensive rebounds? Extra possessions, be ready to catch. No sense of urgency defensively by the Celtics. Prince knocks down the Che, and then the extra pass. Rip to Sheed in the corner. Give flips on to spread it. Stuckey 13 points. Didn't stay with him. Went to his primary guys in the 4th.
There's just 4 of 6 players in double figures for Detroit. 6-point lead, still plenty of time. Ray Allen finding Garnett. Garnett's jumper makes it a 4-point game. Both teams with multiple timeouts remaining. And each team with a foul to give.
And you don't get any better defense than what the Pistons just played.
Wallace steps back, quick three. Won't go that time. Hamilton, a big offensive rebound. Took it away from Allen. 24 for Detroit. They'll try to use most of it. Hamilton on the drive. Garnett defending. Back out to Prince. Shot clock is at 2. Prince has to put it up. Won't go. And a rebound, Rondo. Rondo to Allen. Ray Allen on the jumper. Can't get it to fall. And then a foul on Rondo. Well, the Pistons will take it out with 1:12 remaining. Holding on to a 4-point lead. Wallace a little shaken up after getting whacked.
First in the last 2 minutes.
Rondo picks up his third.
And Doc Rivers and the Celtics, this is good offense. Puts the ball on the floor. That's a good look for a guy that's feeling it offensively. Not able to get it in.
Coming up on a minute remaining. Phillips has had a strong game too. Hamilton tied up. Shot clock down to 4 again. Hamilton has to hurry. Hamilton on the drive. The runner in the paint. Knocks it down. Clutch shot from Hamilton. And the lead back to 6 as the Celtics call timeout. Rip Hamilton now with 25. And a huge bucket right there to silence this crowd.
Well, Garnett got overextended at the end of the play. Here he's trying to pressure Rip Hamilton near half court. He goes by him, hits a nice floater. Could have been a charge. No call. Big hoop by Rip Hamilton to put the Pistons back up by 6.
Hamilton's become the Pistons' all-time playoff scoring leader in this postseason. 2 big points right there to give the Pistons some breathing room.
LeBron going hard to the hole.
Iguodala fouled and determined all the way to the cup. Been a great postseason, great time of year for the NBA fan. Every other day there's a conference final tomorrow on TNT. It's the Spurs and the Lakers from the Staples Center. And then Saturday on ABC, we'll be in the Palace of Auburn Hills for the Pistons and the Celtics Game 3. Detroit trying to even this series at 1 apiece. Right now they have a little cushion. Again, both teams with multiple timeouts. Pistons still have a foul to give.
What the Doc Rivers decides to go with his 3-point shooters and Posey and House off the bench to stretch the defense, get something quick.
But, Jeff, you don't necessarily feel they need to shoot a 3 right away.
No, you need the best shot as quick as possible.
Pierce looking. Good help defense from Rasheed Wallace, but Pierce then gets away, and it's back to 4 with 41 seconds left. Phillips calmly brings the ball up the floor.
You see the Pistons, excellent free throw shooting from top to bottom, so you can't foul immediately.
Celtics desperate for a stop here. Prince blocked by Posey, and it's still Piston ball with 3 left on the shot clock. And Flip Saunders will use one of his timeouts. They set up an inbounds play with 3 on the 24. We'll take a quick break. James Posey with the block here, but the Celtics still need a stop. Pistons by 4, 20 seconds remaining here in Game 2. Detroit basketball when we return. ESPN2 coverage begins at 7 Eastern with NASCAR Countdown. Inbound to Phillips. And miscommunication, and that makes it back to 6. Timeout. Just like that off the inbounds play, Detroit scores, and they're back up by 6.
He has got a
I don't know if they were ready for the inbounds pass, Jeff.
Well, it was a good play. Phillips curled off a stagger screen, and then they were going to bring Hamilton off again. And they were trying to take away the corner, Pierce was, and left the basket unguarded. Usually the inbounder's man is the one responsible for this play to protect the basket, but because Hamilton's so good at coming off the stagger screen to the corner, Pierce shaded the corner and left the basket unguarded.
Phillips and Hamilton have been terrific tonight. The all-star backcourt combining for 44 points, 11 assists. Hitting clutch free throws. All right, what's the Celtics plan now with 18.7? They need three-pointers here, correct?
Yeah, and I'm surprised that Rondo's in the game right now because he's not a three-point threat.
Probably the thought process is for him to put the ball on the floor and make a play to the cup.
Pistons have a foul to give. Rondo looking, precious time ticking off. Allen has to put it up. Puts it in! Three-pointer with 10.7 remaining. Now they need to foul. And the Pistons will call timeout. Allen launches it and makes it a three-point game. Allen with 12 points in the fourth quarter has come alive with 25 here tonight.
Took a lot of time to get into this set. Precious time drilling up the clock. But the good news for Doc Rivers, you now have a big three. Ray Allen finding his offensive game. Jump shot looking as smooth as ever.
I love that Ultra Mo camera.
A high arcing shot for Allen, who's 9 for 16 from the field. 25 points. 12 of them here in the fourth. Finally a chance for Ray Allen to smile. He hasn't been smiling a lot with his shot in recent games. But now the Pistons will advance the ball in the front court. The Pistons have one timeout remaining. Celtics do not have a foul to give. Try and steal the ball. If not, have to foul right away, right?
Well, we talked about this 100 times throughout the course of the season. One thing you want to do if you're the Celtics, active hands in the passing lane. First thing you want to do is not commit the foul, but gamble defensively. Look to come up with the steal. You don't get it, foul immediately.
And if I was Garnett, I've got to make sure I turn and face and help. Hamilton's great on the cut. He cuts full speed. They won a game against Orlando on a foul on Hamilton's cut.
Celtics were down by 11 here in the fourth. Cut it to 2. Detroit trying to hang on. And they have to use their final timeout. Very close to a 5-second count. You've got 5 seconds before you release it. But Prince just got it. Steve Jaddy gave the timeout. And now the Pistons are done. So now they have to get it inbounds.
And this is one of those situations in NBA where anything goes as you're trying to inbound it. You know, like contact that wouldn't be permissible through the course of the game is permissible when you inbound late. Right there, Phillips got hit as he was cutting to the ball, but that's the way it is. You got to know that in the NBA.
How often in this situation do you see the defensive team, they just kind of let the ball get in and then commit the foul? Ball denial's a lost art sometimes these days.
Well, it is a lost art, but this is where guys like Ginobili and Kobe Bryant do a great job of creating lanes and getting open.
And I wouldn't be surprised. They're sending a person in the backcourt to open up the floor. Just look for Rip Hamilton to have a little bit more room to maneuver because he's one of the best cutters in the game.
So there you see it. Pistons out of timeouts. Celtics will try and go for the steal. If they don't get it, they'll foul right away, and then the Pistons can try and put this game away at the free throw line where they have been terrific.
And I'm saying I'm not sure I would foul on the immediate catch if it falls inbounded close to the sideline. I'd let Garnett go and follow and double team and try to knock the ball loose. Pistons are too good a free throw shooting team.
Garnett and his big length and width with those long arms will try and harass Prince. Looking, lobs it in, knocked out of bounds. But I believe a foul is called. Tom Washington. Well, if you're going to try and go for a steal like that, can't get it. The smart idea is to foul. Washington calls the foul, and the Pistons will go to the free throw line. Well, you see, he's got his arm around Posey. You can call Rondo as well. You can call it on either guy. That's the right call. So Wallace will go to the line where he's 2 for 2. The Pistons as a team, they've been superb from the line tonight. 25 of 28. Wallace for the playoffs is only 73%. And during the regular season was 77%. 10.2 remaining. Celtics still have a timeout. Because right now the Detroit can wrap this one up at the line. Remember, the Pistons still have a foul to give. Crowd trying to distract Rasheed Wallace. And that makes it a 4-point game. Just great free throw shooting from Detroit. Celtics on the verge of losing at home in the playoffs for the first time in this postseason. This is the second quick timeout. So they'll advance the ball to the front court. But once again, it's a 2-possession game. And now the Celtics are out of timeouts.
So not only does Doc Rivers have to go over what he wants to do offensively, he's got to talk about what he's going to do defensively, and then when they have to foul, what they're going to do on offense coming from the free throw line.
An important thing you think about is the Pistons having a foul to give, knowing when and where to use that foul.
But you also have to be careful. I mean, you take a 3-point attempt and foul around that aspect. We've seen Larry Johnson do some miraculous things. Obviously, you know, that's a rare occurrence, but you have to be careful when you foul. That's why teams so often are hesitant to commit that foul in this situation.
Well, I don't understand the hesitation, because you have to know when you're doing it. You can't do it when the guy's facing the basket. When his back is to the basket, that's when you use your foul to give, whether you're trying to use a foul to give or to prevent the 3-point shot.
Now, these are situations that you should work on as a team all season long, so you're prepared when the moment comes.
Posey will inbound. Pierce, Allen, Garnett, and Eddie House out there.
And Rasheed Wallace's lateral quickness gives Detroit the chance to switch on many screens.
Posey looking. They don't have any timeouts. Gets it to Pierce. Pierce on the drive. Pierce kicks it back out. Garnett puts up a 3. Won't go. Prince the rebound. And that will do it. With 1.7 seconds remaining, the Pistons will take game 2 and will even this series at 1 apiece, handing the Celtics their first home loss of the playoffs. And the building starts to empty out.
If you're the Celtics, this is tough times. Tough times is not game 7 against the Hawks or the Cavs in your own building. Now, for the first time this postseason, they have to go into somebody else's building and win a ball game.
They lost all 3 in Atlanta. They lost all 3 in Cleveland. And they were asked about that over and over again. That's all they're going to be asked about after the game today and tomorrow. They did win a game at the Palace during the regular season this year. But an impressive win here for Detroit. After losing game 1, they came back, hold off a couple of rallies from the Celtics. They made a big charge here in the fourth quarter. Building was alive. An 11-point Detroit lead was cut to 2. But the Pistons hold on. Hit some big shots, including from the free throw line. They go 28 of 32 and win it 103-97. Rip Hamilton was superb. He had 25, and he's with Michelle.
All right, Mike, thanks. Rip, it seemed every time that they got close and they got to within 2, you guys had answers, just hitting your shots. Can you talk about those last few minutes and what was so critical for you guys offensively?
We just wanted to keep our composure. You know, they made shots. You know, we just told ourselves, when we come off screens, if they hedge out, our bigs has got good enough shooters to knock down shots.
Knowing how tough it is to beat the Celtics in their building. What was the mindset coming in about trying to get one early here in this series?
Well, like I said, our whole objective was to come out and hit first. First game one, we didn't hit first. We went down 8-0. And tonight, we just wanted to be aggressive, get the ball to the basket, and we did a good job of doing that.
And now heading home with this thing split, what kind of mindset does this team in with a chance to, really take an edge in this series?
Just keep attacking. We've been in this situation before. Now it's our job to go home and play in front of the best fans in the league.
Thanks, Rip.
Yes, sir.
Mike?
Another playoff road win for these Detroit Pistons. They've won 4 games on the road in these postseason. Now they head home to the Palace for games 3 and 4 as the Pistons win it 103-97. This Eastern Conference Final Series tied now at 1 game apiece. For a recap of tonight's game and all the post-game press conferences, go to ESPN News. While coming up next on ESPN Sports Center. So for Jeff Van Gundy, Mark Jackson, Michelle Tafoya, and our entire terrific ESPN crew, this is Mike Breen saying so long from Boston. Final score, Pistons 103, Celtics 97. It's even at 1 apiece.